What are the best comedy horror movies? That's what we're going to discuss on today's episode. Hey, it's me, AP, and welcome to the Saturday Movie Show, show number 49, ladies and gents. Glad to have you all here with me for another episode. And yeah, as I said, this is show 49 today. Topic of discussion, the headline topic of today's show is best comedy horror movies. We're continuing the Halloween theme as we are in the month of October. We are nearing Halloween. We're getting closer and closer to Halloween. I don't think... There's the mask. We got to get the mask out. There we go. Put the prop up. I forgot to put the prop up before doing the video. Best Halloween. Not best Halloween. Best comedy horror movies. I can't wait to jump into the headline topic. We're going to discuss 4 really cool comedy horror movies on today's show. 4 I've been rewatching this past week and just getting in the mood for because it's Halloween season. So yeah, it's going to be another fun Halloween-themed spooky episode of the Saturday Movie Show. But before we jump into any of the headline topics of today's show, with every episode, as you know, we jump in to some not-so-worthy blockbuster housekeeping. This is the part of the show where we discuss what is going on within our community here, what's going on with the channel, and just a general chit-chat to ease us in to the rest of the episode. So let's do some not-so-worthy blockbuster housekeeping for this week. So, as I said, first of all, to continue the theme of Halloween season, last week we did a really fun show, and it had a great interaction within the community in the comment section. People liking the video, people really watching a lot of the video, enjoying the video. We did the best horror or action horror movies, and that was on last week's Saturday Movie Show. I had a ton of fun doing that episode, I'll be honest with you. It was kind of off the top of the hat doing a Halloween themed episode. Just thought of it on the day and thought, let's do it. It's a Halloween month, let's go for it. And this is what has spawned this week's episode as well. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that interaction. Hopefully, we get the same sort of interactions, and a lot of people will get involved in watching this video as well, this week's one. But that was a great video. Really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed looking at them choices of horror action movies as well. Some great choices out there. Some great input from the community as well for choices for action horror movies as well. Van Helsing has come up. I think it might be Mark in the community who mentioned Van Helsing. I'm pretty sure it was Mark. If someone out, I do apologise. I know a few people have mentioned Van Helsing a few times, and you know what? It's one of those movies I consistently say I'm going to rewatch. It's Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman. It's one I am going to rewatch this month at some point. Van Helsing. I am definitely going to watch that. We had some other great recommendations as well, which I'm going to be hopefully watching over the next month. I want to try and watch them while it's horror season, Halloween season as well. But Van Helsing is definitely one of those I'm going to be looking at straight away, because I remember watching it years ago and thinking it was an okay movie, but I wasn't completely sold on it. But I've had so many people reach out to me in the community and say, Van Helsing, check out Van Helsing. I'm pretty sure it was Mark in the community who said about Van Helsing. I know you recommended another great movie with the guy who plays Thor. I can't remember. It was some zombie horror movie. I can't remember what it was called now, but I'm meaning to watch that over the next week or two as well. But great recommendations from the community as a whole. I know Shaun out there, Media Collector Madness, I think he mentioned he has a Blade movies. He's going to watch them for the first time. Blade is a great action horror movie series as well. That is fantastic. There's tons of great movies out there, isn't there? There's loads of great action horrors. But that was great. I really enjoyed that last week. Let's talk about what else is going on with the channel. We've got the 50th episode coming up next week of the Saturday Movie Show. This is show 49. Episode 50 is next Saturday. I'm really excited for the show. It's going to be great. So that's on the 16th of October, next Saturday, the episode of the Saturday Movie Show. It will be a celebration episode. If you've not been watching over the past few weeks, we've been mentioning on the channel that it's going to be a celebration. The best year in movies will be the topic of discussion. And everyone yeah, it's a shout out to whoever wants to get involved. You can get involved via give me a statement, either send me a message of your 4 movies from one given year and describe why you like them movies, or you can do a 2-minute video and send it to the email, and you can send a statement to the email as well to SaturdayMovieShow50, that's the number 50 at hotmail.com. It's the last submission, so I gotta say, because I will be editing that video a tiny bit earlier in the week next week, so this is out today. I'm gonna say the cutoff for submissions, I'm getting tongue twisted here, is gonna be Monday. Monday, if you can contact me, just let me know if you can try and get it to me for Monday. Really though, because I'm going to be editing that show together either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, most likely. To get that all ready, just because hopefully we're gonna have a bit of a longer episode maybe for that one. But I'm really excited for that, for the 50th episode. Like I said, if you want to get involved, let me know. We've had some great submissions so far, and hopefully we get a few more before next week. But either way, it's just going to be a great celebration episode of 50 episodes, and I've really enjoyed doing the show for 50 episodes so far, and it's one of those where long may it continue. I'm sure that the format will change over the periods further past the 50th episode, but for the 50th episode, everything will be staying the same. It's going to be the same old show, and it's going to be another fun episode. And I'm just really thankful to all of you out there for joining this community, for subscribing, for liking, for getting involved in the comments, for interacting, and we've got an awesome community here, and it's a really, really great to see. So that has been fantastic, and I can't wait. And like I said, if you want to get involved, just drop me an email, drop me a comment. Let me know if you want to get involved. Send me a statement of your favourite movies. I want to hear all your choices, and I will read them all out, or I'll feature your videos, a 2-minute video. Just let me know. Give me shoot me up online. Find me online. You know where to find me. You can find me somewhere. So what else have we got going on the channel? We have this week as well a new video that came out on Thursday. The should you buy an Xbox 360 for movie watching in 2021. Gotta be honest, I don't know how that video's went down, because I've only just filmed that video. That video, I hope it goes out now. If it doesn't go out, God, this will just make no sense anyway. But hopefully it was something where I want to do more of these little buying guides. We did the should you buy a DVD player in 2021 earlier on in the year. People really like that video. We had a lot of viewing on it. It's one of the highest viewed videos on the channel this year. People like it. There's a lot of discussion in there, which is great. So I thought let's mix it up and let's do an Xbox 360 for movie watching in 2021 as well. So that is Thursday's video, and hopefully it actually was released, and we had a nice bit of discussion around that video. I'm doing the Saturday movie show a bit earlier this week, filming it a bit earlier. Thankful that it's not about a topic-based show. Sometimes we do like the topic-based about what's in the world of movies currently. This is just one of those shows where we're doing a topic of discussion on a movie topic more so, rather than a news topic. But anyway, that is what's going on. But like I said, send me in your final submissions. You want to get involved, drop me a comment. If you even want to just send, you have a quick question about the show, send it in for next week, and we can answer any questions related to the channel, to movie watching on the channel next week for the Saturday Movie Show 50th episode, best year in movies. But anyway, let's move away from the not so worthy Blockbuster housekeeping section of the show, and let's move forward to the headline topic of today's show. So today's headline topic: best comedy horror movies. Best horror comedy movies, or comedy horror, best comedy horror movies, whatever you want to call it. Switch them around, whichever way you want to go with them words, but best comedy horror movies. And I've got 4 choices here, and it was hard because there's a lot of great comedy horror movies out there, I think anyway. To slim it down to 4 was hard, but these are ones that I think are really funny. I think they're great movies, and these are the ones I want to talk about today on the episode. So we are going to start with a 2004 movie. That 2004 movie is Shaun of the Dead, directed by Edgar Wright, starring Nick Frost and Simon Pegg. A great British cast, a British movie. Shaun of the Dead, kind of a play on Dawn of the Dead, as you can probably work out. It's a comedy horror. It just tells the similar story of Dawn of the Dead. It's a zombie invasion taking over the world for a short period, anyway, in this movie. And it's a really funny movie. This is kind of like a debut in the world to Simon Pegg in movies, and Nick Frost and Edgar Wright, because before that they were well known for the TV show Spaced, and I believe Edgar Wright was very much involved in that as well. Spaced was like a TV show over here in the UK, and then they transitioned into releasing this movie. And I remember at the time when this movie came out, seeing like reports on the news about this movie, and Simon Pegg being interviewed on, like, I think it must have been ITV News or something. And I remember hearing references, and I not really thinking much of it at the time, but maybe a year or two later, we seen more discussion about this movie being really a really good comedy movie, well worth watching. And I watched it, and I thought it was great. I thought it was a great movie. I've enjoyed a lot of that Cornetto and Blood trilogy. Hot Fuzz is probably my favourite. World's End is pretty decent as well. Not the best one, but probably for me it would be Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and World's End. It's like each movie features Cornettos and blood. I think that's why it's called the Cornetto and Blood trilogy. But that is Shaun of the Dead. Why is it funny? I think it's a very dark comedy at times, dark horror. It blends, zombie invasion with just all-out humour in so many moments. It's got the flair of Edgar Wright's directing written all over it as well. Edgar Wright is just a great director. We did a video talking about Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which he also directed more recently, and talking about like his telling of directing and transitions with visuals. It's just phenomenal. He knows how to transition scenes really well and at a quick pace, but make them really entertaining. For instance, with this, I feel like he uses a lot of like sound effects really well with transitions and moments here, and the storytelling where it's like quick paced storytelling of certain moments. Like for instance, Shaun is trying to hatch a plan to for this zombie invasion. It's like we go round to his stepdad's, we save his mum, kill his stepdad. We go and rescue his girlfriend, come back to home, and have a nice cup of tea. And then he goes, and you've got this quick-paced montage going on over this. And he's like, oh, no, we can't do that plan. We can't stay here, it's not safe. And then he's like, we'll go to the Winchester. And it's like, go around, kill Philip. And he's like, sorry, Philip. And they bash him in the head in this quick montage scene. They go and rescue his girlfriend, carry her out. They go to the Winchester, and they have a nice pint of beer. And it's the quick-paced montage there, which is excellent. The music involved, just how quickly it's all cut up, the scene as well, and it makes you laugh. It's so silly that just the way it is. I love that, and I think Edgar Wright is just perfect. He's just nailed that directing style down to a T. You can tell it's an Edgar Wright movie from just watching about 5 minutes of this movie. I feel like you can. I think let's talk about notable scenes. I think for me, there's a few notable scenes. I love the scene. First of all, the opening scene shows like Shaun going to the local shop to get a cornetto. Comes back and he's just seeing everything. The world is fine. And this is before he goes to work, and then we start to see the zombie invasion unfold overnight. But you see the scene of him walking down the street, and like there's a kid playing football, and kicks a football at him, and he says, "You're dead next time I see you." Next time he sees the kid's a zombie, which is really humorous. We see a homeless man on the street asking him for spare change. He's putting his hand out. Shaun gives him change. In the scene, they sort of like mirror the same scene like the day after, and it's him going to the shop again, but everyone around him, the world's in ruin, and everyone's zombies. So you see the homeless man putting his hand out, he's a zombie, the kid's a zombie, but Shaun is just totally unaware of all this, and this is the humour where it goes in. He's just going to the shop. He goes to the shop, and the guy who works at the shop isn't there. He doesn't see him until like later on, and he's sort of like putting his hand out because he didn't give him enough change for the money in the shop. It's just such silly moments, but I love that mirroring of the scene of the initial first scene again. Then you see everything in ruin and everything in a zombie type of world. It's really funny. I think another scene as well. I mean, the scenes with he's like I might have to kill my stepdad. And he has to go and kill his stepdad. He doesn't, because his stepdad has been bitten, he's got to save his mum and his stepdad. They take him out in a Jag. They go in this fast car, and then basically it's the stepdad's car, and he's turned into a zombie. They all get out of the car, but music is playing, and then his mum says to him, he says to his mum, "There's nothing left of your husband in there. There's nothing left of Philip." And he goes, he's like this like grouchy old man. And he goes, he's a zombie at this point, and the music is playing dead loud, and they're all looking at him in this car, and the zombie just goes to the radio and turns the loud music off because he hates loud music because he's that sort of like old fuddy-duddy, like 1 foot in a grave sort of guy kind of character. I just love little scenes like that. I just think there's little slices of flair where it just makes me chuckle, and it's only little like tiny little bits, but for me they just add a lot of value to this. I love the music as well. The use of music in this like movie. In the end scene with the Winchester, all the zombies are coming in and attacking them, and then you've got Queen playing, and it's awesome. It's an awesome use of music. The choreography is great. It's just so silly. The hitting zombies with snooker cues. I just think it's a great movie overall. It always makes me chuckle. It doesn't take itself too serious as well, which is what I like about it. I think Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are a great comedy duo as well. I love them two in movies. I think they're great as well. Like I said, Hot Fuzz is another great film with them two involved, as well as Edgar Wright directing as well. But Shaun of the Dead, it just borrows its great comedy, great horror, all molded together to give you Shaun of the Dead, and it's well worth the watch if you've never given it a watch before. So now let's move on to my second choice of best comedy horror movies. So my second choice is the Addams Family movie. That is the 1991 Addams Family movie starring Raul Julia, the late great Raul Julia as Gomez Addams, Angelica Hudson as Morticia, and Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester. I kind of look like Uncle Fester right now. Mine without the beard. Yeah, I had a beard accident this week, so I had to shave the beard. I look like Uncle Fester sometimes. I'm pretty sure. People probably say that behind my back. I don't mind. You can call me Uncle Fester. It doesn't bother me. But that movie, 1991 Addams Family movie, spawned a sequel as well. I think they had some other sequels, but they didn't feature this main cast as well. But I'm talking about the first movie in the series. It was based on the original TV show from the 60s. I think it was a comic book strip as well originally, I'm pretty sure, the Addams Family. But look, Addams Family, the basis of the story, the premise is it's the return, they're trying to find Uncle Fester after 25 years of his absence. Gomez and Fester are brothers, and they had like a falling out. And basically, they find this guy who is basically Christopher Lloyd's character, who is playing a different character in this at first. And they think he is Uncle Fester because him and his mother are basically trying to swindle them out of all their fortunes, basically. And it turns out in the end, there's a lot of twists and turns in this, but it turns out he is actually Uncle Fester, and in the end, and I think this is actually the story from the original TV show, I'm pretty sure. I've never watched the original TV show, but I'm pretty sure it's based on the same story, same premise. But that's it, and basically the shorthand of this is the story is he was in the Bermuda Triangle for 25 years. He was picked up by fishing boats, and he then had no recollection of who he was, and then slowly at the end of this movie it reveals that he is actually Uncle Fester. But it is a great movie. I think some would maybe say this isn't comedy horror, it's maybe comedy supernatural. I think it's all under the same umbrella for me anyway. It's a Halloween, spooky, horror movie. Horror elements to this movie of the Addams Family. And that's why I would put it as a comedy horror movie. Best memories of this. For me, I think the whole movie, I love this. This is the sort of movie I like watching at Halloween because of the feel of the Addams Family. It's spooky, but it's cheesy as well. It's not serious at all. It's one the whole family can watch as well because it's not heavy. It's an entertaining movie. I think Gomez Addams is a standout as well as Uncle Fester. I love that dynamic between them two, the brothers, who initially they're not brothers, but then they they reveal that they are brothers, and just like the interactions between them. I also love the interactions between the younger siblings as well, of Wednesday and Pugsley, where you've got Wednesday, played by, was it Christina Ricci? She is just constantly torturing a younger brother. I think it's a younger brother anyway. Like, for instance, she's putting him in a hot seat, and she's about like an electric chair, and she's about to electrify him, and she does indeed electrify him. And she's just a pure psychopath, basically. She's got no emotion, this kid. And just the interaction between them two kids, it just cracks me up every time. just seeing this psychopathic kid, and then this dopey brother who just gets treated like dirt by her. But it's silly, it's fun, it's slapstick at times. I love the story as well. I think it's an easy story to watch. It's somewhat easy, an easy watching film. But I think it's a great horror comedy movie, The Addams Family. It spawned the sequel, The Addams Family Values, as well, which is equally as good. I think the first one, though, just that introduction to that world of The Addams Family is really nice to see. And to see that, the house and all the different characters in the house, and I really enjoy that. I think it's a great film, and it's one for all the family to watch this Halloween as well. It's a horror comedy for everyone in the family. So now let's move on to my third choice of comedy horror movies. And my third choice is a movie that was what came out in 2014. And this movie is, well, let's say it is the movie What We Do in the Shadows. Some will know that title, What We Do in the Shadows. They will know it from either watching the movie initially in 2014, or they maybe would know the TV show, the What We Do in the Shadows TV show. And I believe it's had about 2 or 3 series now. And both entities are great. The TV show is great. I've watched the TV show. I really enjoy it. The movie is equally as good. If you've never watched the movie, you've only seen the TV show. So what can I talk about? What We Do in the Shadows, what is it? It's a New Zealand film. It's directed by Taika Waititi and Jermaine Clement. Jermaine Clement you would know from Flight of the Conchords fame, and he's done loads of acting roles over the years, like Rick and Morty, the BFG, more recently he would have been in. He's been in tons of stuff. You'll know his face, you'll know his voice. Taika Waititi, what would you know him from? He directed the more recent Thor movie, Thor Ragnarok. He's going to be doing the second one as well. Great actor, director. He stars in this. Both of them guys direct it and also star in this movie as the central roles as the vampires. But what is the premise of this? So it is a mockumentary movie set in New Zealand, and it start of the movie it shows on screen like a secret society has welcomed in a New Zealand film crew to film the exploits and everything that's going on leading up to this big event, this masquerade ball. And it's called the Unholy Masquerade. And it turns out then, it also says that all the film crew were given crucifixes, and they were all given like immunity from being killed while filming this, because they're filming a family of vampires. Well, I say a family, they're not like siblings, but they all commute together in this house. They live in this house, all this apartment full of vampires. So there's 3 vampires at first, or there's 4, you could say there's 4 really, but 3 main ones. And it's a mockumentary crew going around filming the day-to-day life of these 3 vampires. Jermaine Clement, one of them, and Taika Waititi, also one of them. And it's just really funny. There's a lot of, it's just really a dark comedy humor, very, very dry comedy at times. It's comedy I like that very dry humor. I think it is, if you like stuff like Spinal Tap and you like stuff like The Office, I think this will be right up your street. I think if you like that tendency for some of that dry humor as well, of stuff like maybe like Parks and Recreation as well, stuff like that. It's also that similar sort of humor in this movie, I would say. But it shows that it's telling the story of what they're up to leading up to this masquerade, unholy masquerade of coming together of all this community in Wellington, New Zealand, of zombies, werewolves, vampires, the undead, and you see all the little stories in between, and there's just tons of little bits. And I think there's a few moments here that I really want to point out as highlights to me, because there's tons of different highlights, I must say, within this movie. It's well worth the watch throughout, and if you're into the TV show, definitely check out the movie. But a few little moments. Taika Waititi's character is very much like the lead character in this, and his character, he's like, first of all, he's one scene where he's going on a date, and he's in his house, and the date's around his house. They're sitting on the sofa, and she's this young woman, and his intention is to kill the woman and to feed on her blood because it's feeding time. Vampires like blood, obviously, and she's sort of like talking. He's asking her about like, oh, what you up to and what you're doing in life, and she's sort of like saying, oh yeah, I'm in university right now, and maybe I'm thinking about doing some traveling soon. While this is all going on, the film crew is filming Waititi's character. Just dead obviously, he has a big stack of towels. He's putting the towels down, and he's got pieces of newspaper, and he's putting the newspaper under the woman's feet, and she's like looking at him like, "What are you doing?" and he's playing it straight. Do you know what I mean? He's playing it straight. He's not like smiling or anything. He's serious. He's putting these papers down. Where he's going, "Oh yes, yes, yes," and then she's looking at him, and then the next minute he's like, "Let me just move your hair." He's like going in for a kiss, and then he bites her. And the humour here is, he says, "Oh no, I've bit an artery." He bites an artery in the girl's neck, and the blood just goes everywhere. He was preparing for just a little small portion of blood going on the floor. The blood goes all over him. It squirts out. It goes all over the house, all over the walls. And afterwards, you just see him just covered in blood, and he's just like, "Yeah, I messed up," basically. And it's the lead up to it is really funny, and just like the payoff in the end is really funny as well. Another bit with Taika Waititi's character as well is they go into this unholy masquerade at the end, and all the vampires are trying on outfits and stuff, and he is dressed as Blade, Wesley Snipes in Blade. He's got like the sort of like the black leather jacket and the swords, and the other guys say to him, "What are you dressed as?" And he's like, "Blade, vampire hunter," and they're like, "That's totally inappropriate for an unholy masquerade full of vampires. You can't wear," and he's like, "Yeah, but Wesley Snipes is great, but like, no, you can't use that." And he doesn't wear it in the end, but again, it's a very small portion, but a very small joke. But it just had me in fits laughing, just stuff like that. I love to see. It's the small things in this movie, the very small bits of jokes and small bits of humour, but I think the small bits go a long way in movies like this. It's a great movie, a great cast, a great premise, and it's something fresh, something you wouldn't have seen before. I feel like you wouldn't have seen anything like this, What We Do in the Shadows. As I said, if you've seen the TV show, you've never seen the movie, check it out. It's got a lot of similar themes. Another TV show is set in America. This is set in New Zealand. I think it had another spin-off as well, Wellington Paranormal, where it's the coppers in this. The two police officers are very much, I think they're in a series of their own where they're dealing with paranormal things in the city of Wellington. But a great movie all around and well worth checking out. Let's move on anyway to my fourth and final choice of best comedy horror movies. And my fourth and final choice has got to be Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters come out in 1984, the original first movie starring Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Evan Ramis, and Ernie Hudson. And it is a great movie. Ghostbusters, I always say Men in Black was my Ghostbusters of my generation as a 90s kid, but even going back, I remember watching Ghostbusters as a kid and really enjoying it. And I've watched it more recently, watching it this week for this video, and I had a ton of fun watching this film. It tells the story of a bunch of paranormal scientists who then go on to start the Ghostbusters, a team that captures ghosts in the city of New York, and then it leads up to the big battle with Zool, and it's just a great comedy throughout. I think standouts in this are definitely Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd. I think them two are a great combination of characters. Also in here though, you've got Sigourney Weaver in there as well. You've got Rick Moranis. It's a great cast of characters and actors as well. So let's talk about standout scenes, standout moments for me. I think the first opening, well, kind of like the opening scene, the cold open to this film, when they go to the library for the first time and they see the ghost, they're trying to, there's been a report of a ghost. They go to the library and they see the ghost just standing there in the library. They're quiet and they're going down. It's in the basement. And Dan Aykroyd's character of Ray he's like, what do we do? What do we do? And he has no plan. And then Peter Venkman, Bill Murray's character, he's like, I'll deal with this. He goes up, stands in front of the ghost, and he goes, "Hello, my name's Dr. Venkman," and he's just playing it dead straight, and he's asking the ghost questions, and the ghost is just going, "Shh." Turns back around, and then Dan Aykroyd's character Ray says, "Right, I've got a plan. He's a bit more like the comedy relief in this, the stupidity of the Ghostbusters. He said, I've got a plan. And he's like, just come with me. And he's got the other guy, two guys, Bill Murray and Ivan Ramos's character at the side of him, and he just goes, on me, follow me. 1, 2, 3, and he just run up to the ghost, and he goes, woo, and then the ghost goes, rah, does this weird, crazy face, and they run out there, and then we see the beginnings of the Ghostbusters team and them getting the suits, they getting the car, the Ecto 1, getting the fire, the fire station as well, and it's a superb film throughout. Another scene as well, the opening scene with Bill Murray's character with the cards as well. He's doing the cards and the electric machine with the girl and the male, with the female and the male, and the female, he's like trying to guess the cards, and he's going, what's the card? And then the guy's getting him wrong, he buzzes him. The girl gets him wrong, but he says, you got him right, and he doesn't buzz her. And then the guy predicts the right card, and he still buzzes him and said, you're wrong, and then the guy runs out then. That's another funny scene. Bill Murray is just superb. He's on fire in this movie. I love his interactions with Sigourney Weaver's character as well. I think they're great interactions. At the end of the scene, at the end of the movie as well, with Ray, Dan Aykroyd's character, with the Marshmallow Man, and they're saying, don't think of anything, because if you think of anything, Zool will take a form of whatever you think of. And they're all like saying, oh yeah, we've emptied our minds, we can't think of anything. And then Dan Aykroyd says, I couldn't help it. And then next minute, the Marshmallow Man comes out, and it's just, that scene is great for the 80s. The special effects, the visuals of that are fantastic. This movie also has an amazing soundtrack throughout. I love the Ghostbusters song. I think it's great. But there's some other great songs throughout this. I feel like they're part of the soundtrack, but maybe there is some actual real songs involved in this. But I feel like I'm watching this and the music blends really well. The score is really worked well as well within this movie. You got them within the spooky scenes. You got like this very, very like a synthesizer, like spooky choir-like noise in the background, which is really cool. But I love this. I think it's a great movie for watching around Halloween season. It's a great comedy horror movie as well. Matching Ghost and Slimer. We got Slimer in there. The first time Slimer hits Bill Murray and just turns him into slime is great. Again, Bill Murray just super dry, saying, he's looking at me right now. And then Slimer just comes right on, slimes him. And it's just a great movie. It's a great fun movie. Again, it's a movie for the whole family that can watch. It's not heavy. I don't think it's heavy in it. I think kids can certainly watch Ghostbusters. I think there's a few maybe adult jokes in there at times, especially with Ray when he's having that dream sequence. Sure, but I mean, I think overall it's a movie that the whole family can definitely enjoy. This one, Ghostbusters. I had a ton of fun watching it as a rewatch for this episode. And it was just great to just dive back in there with watching Ghostbusters. So anyway, that is the headline topic out the way for today's Saturday movie show. But let's move the show forward now to another section of the show. And the section is Movies for the Weekend. This is a part of the show where I give you some movie recommendations for this weekend. And I have with me two choices here today. And first of all, let's keep it with the Halloween theme and the spooky theme, the horror theme, first of all. And we're going to go with a movie called The Lost Boys. This is a great movie starring, I always forget, it's Kiefer Sutherland. I always have Donald Sutherland in my head. Kiefer Sutherland in this movie. You got Jason Patrick, Jamie Gertz, Kiefer Sutherland, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, Bernard Hughes, Edward Herrmann. And to be honest, a lot of them names I'm not totally aware of, but The Lost Boys is a great vampire movie. Superb movie. There's definitely some humorous elements into this as well. It couldn't have made, for me, the comedy horror. Well, I suppose it could be classed as a comedy horror. I suppose there's a two halves to this movie. There's definitely a lot of, with the Frog Brothers, there's a lot of comedy moments in The Lost Boys, but it's one I really enjoy. I know a family member of mine used to really enjoy this, and I watched it, and I thought it was a really decent movie at the time as well. And it's one I will hopefully be watching over the Halloween season. It's got a really cool soundtrack as well. So that is one of those movies for the weekend, movie recommendations. Another one now is it's not really a Halloween movie per se, not a horror movie, but I feel like it's one of those where it's got a lot of like supernatural elements which would fit into a Halloween watch if you're watching a few Halloween movies and around Halloween time. And that movie is Jim Henson's Labyrinth, starring David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly. I have it here on DVD. And I really enjoy this movie. I think it's got a superb soundtrack, some great songs from Bowie involved in this as well. I just love the puppetry of this and the world of Labyrinth that it's set in. I think David Bowie is great as the Goblin King, and Jennifer Connelly is great as well in this as well. It's just a great cast of characters. That great world going into the Labyrinth is really cool to see. And I think it's just a world you can really sink into, and that's what I like. And I think it's got themes of supernatural themes and going into this strange world. What makes it a good watch over Halloween for me personally? So it's another one I'm recommending to watch for this weekend, for movies for the weekend recommendations. So anyway, let's move on to the next section of the show and the last section of the show. What have I been watching this past week? And I've been watching a few different things, but I suppose one highlight I want to sort of point out is the Big Friendly Giant, the BFG, the reboot, the remake of this movie, which was a Steven Spielberg movie a few years back now. And I never watched it at the time, but I have recently seen it on the iPlayer, and I can't remember if I've mentioned this over the past few weeks. I've been watching it a bit before I go to bed, a bit each time, and I finally got around to watching the whole film from start to finish in one session this week. But it's one I've really enjoyed watching, and I don't know whether it got like good reviews at the time, or maybe it didn't do that well at the box office. I remember it wasn't like appreciated. That's what I would say. It wasn't appreciated at the time. But I watched this film, this Roald Dahl story, and I fell in love with it. I thought it was a great film. It had a great score by John Williams. I think it's John. It sounds like a John Williams score. I'm pretty sure if it's Spielberg, he would do that. It's just a superb film, and I love that world of the giant country. This young girl going into this world of giants. It's a world again similar to the Labyrinth, where I can just really sink into and believe it. It's weird. I love that world of giants, and you see him running around and run up these big hills, and this base he's got where he's catching dreams, the BFG. And I really enjoyed it. I think the casting is really good for the movie. I really enjoy the music. I enjoy the story. It's not too heavy. It's one for the whole family. But it's something I've really enjoyed watching before I go to bed as just a chill out movie. I think it's a really good fantasy chill out movie to watch, the BFG. So that is what I've been watching. I really enjoyed that. I think it's really, if you've never given it a chance, that film, definitely watch it because it is well worth the watch, the BFG. I very much enjoyed it, and I hope if you get a chance, check it out and let me know your thoughts on that film. But anyway, that is the show over for today. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a like and check out the rest of my movie-related content on the channel as well. And let me know your thoughts on today's video, today's topic, and today's picks. Did you enjoy my picks, my choices of best comedy horror movies? What would be your best comedy horror movies? What are your choices? Give me some of your picks, ladies and gents. I want to know all your selections. It's been another fun video. Like I said, next week it's a big episode for the channel. Best year in movies. We've got the big 50th episode coming up. Like I said again, if you want to get involved, send me a link, send me an email, send me a message. Let me know. The submissions deadline will be Monday. So if you want to get your video featured on that, let me know before Monday or send it before Monday. Just give me a heads up. But I'm looking forward to the 50th episode. I think it's going to be an ace episode. It's going to be a great coming together of the community. I'm really looking forward to it. So it's going to be great. But thank you, as always, for watching episode 49, Best Comedy Horror Movies. It's been a fun-packed episode. I really enjoyed this topic of discussion today. Thanks very much for watching, and as always, I will see you next time.